Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I would like to welcome you to another in the series, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon all of you. Welcome again, dear viewers, to this program in which we are seeking to answer your questions, your queries, things which bother you concerning Islam, whether you be a Muslim, have been a Muslim, you are a new Muslim, or even if you are a non-Muslim. If you have any questions you'd like to write in to us, please feel welcome to do so. We'll try to answer them to the best of our abilities. As the questions increase in number, we may have to try to combine a number of them and maybe shorten them, etc. However, we will try our best to answer the majority of questions which reach us. Just to keep you in touch with how to reach us, you write to me, Dr. Bilal Phillips, at the Sharjah TV with the program name In the Light of Islam, P.O. Box 111, Sharjah. With that, dear viewers, let us go on to our first question, which is, in fact, a continuation from the previous segment. Our question is from Sister Sarina Abdurrahim from Ajman, and she writes, Dear Sir, I want to be sure about women's dress. Can you answer these questions for me? In the previous session, we answered the question concerning whether the woman's dress has to be black, the garment that she wears outside of her home, whether it has to be black in color. And we explained that it didn't have to be black. However, it should be in a modest and mild type of color, which is not attractive in and of itself, and it should be loose, not fitting the body and revealing what is underneath. We also answered her question concerning makeup, that this is not permissible from the point of view of a person who has to make ablution, to wear things on their skin or on their nails which will stop water from reaching the parts of their body. Then it causes their ablution to be incomplete, their wudu to be incomplete, and therefore would not be permissible. Also from the point of view of being in the presence of people who they may marry outside of their home, to be attracting people through the use of makeup, etc., is also not permissible. And that would include also lipstick. The third question which our sister asks is, when wearing a headscarf, can we leave some of our hair showing? As is common, from different cultures, different parts of the world, people may wear the headscarf in such a way that their bangs or whatever may be showing in the front part of their heads. However, this is not correct. The scarf should cover all of the face with the exception of, including the ears, with the exception of what is between the beginning of the hair, the forehead, and the chin, and then what goes from where the ears begin from cheek to cheek. The scarf should be closed underneath the neck. It shouldn't be open and exposing the neck also. This is the correct type of scarf that a Muslim woman is required to wear. The other question is, can the skirt be half length? Well, half length meaning what? To our knees? Of course not. This is definitely not permissible. The skirt, the length of the garment that is worn should be, as Salama explained, who is the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, it should be long and loose and cover the tops of the feet. That is, it should go right down to cover the tops of the feet. When a woman stands, you cannot see her feet. Of course, in the process of walking, her feet may come out, whatever. This is not on her, but as a normal position of standing, etc., sitting, the tops of her feet would be covered by the length of the dress. If the dress, for fear of getting dirty, etc., because it's a bit long or whatever, is slightly above that, then the woman should wear some form of opaque stocking covering her foot so that her feet are not exposed. So, obviously then, the aura, or part of the body which should be covered in terms of dress, includes from the knee down to the toes. The last question which our sister asked concerning perfumes outside the home. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said that a woman who leaves the home wearing perfume is an adulteress. She is inviting adultery. That is, perfume is something which will attract attention. If a woman walks by and she's perfumed, it causes the men to, having smelled it, to look at her. This is drawing attention towards her. And perfume has its own effect. So any kind of perfume which is going to produce this is not permissible for a woman to wear outside of her home. Now, what may come up with this question is, what about perfumed soap? You have soaps which have, most soaps today, they have some kind of scent with them. However, this scent is so faint, one would have to be, right up next to the person to smell it. That kind of scent is not prohibited. But it's the type, perfume, where the person sprays on different things on themselves, etc. It's well known. Or even deodorant, for example. Deodorant worn, normally this is not smelled unless a person is right up next to another person. So anything which is like sprayed on, which when a person walks by, there's wafts of it in the air, which will draw attention, etc. Such is not permissible. Prophet Muhammad describes such a woman as being adulterous, showing that it is something forbidden in Islam. And this is not all of these principles are not to oppress the woman. That the woman is looked at as being fundamentally evil. I know this is another philosophy which has been propagated in Europe through Christianity, where the woman is looked at as being evil because of the fact that she was the one who the devil, according to their story of what happened in the Garden of Eden, that the devil came in the form of a snake, or some say in the form of a peacock, whatever, came to Eve, convinced her to eat and to get Adam to eat from the tree. So she was the cause of the fall of man. However, from an Islamic point of view, this is not the case. Adam ate by his decision. He being the head of the family, he takes first responsibility. So the woman is not held evil and held to be a source of evil in Islam. These different principles are there for her protection. This is what we need to understand first and foremost. The type of garment that she wears, avoiding outer beautification when she goes outside her home, and perfume, etc., etc. All of this is to protect her, because she is the weaker member of the society, males and females. If we look at the cases around the world of rape, we don't have cases of women raping men. This is quite obvious here. The people who are doing all the raping are men. Molestation, people being molested, on the job, or this type of interplay. This is always, or 99% of the time, coming from the men, and the person who suffers are women. Therefore, this principle in Islam is for the protection of the woman, so that when she is outside of her home, she's not inviting unwanted gaze, unwanted attention. This is for her protection in society. And what we can see with all the looseness that exists in certain societies around the world today, especially Western societies, where people are free to have any kind of relations they want, etc., free sex, all these different type of things are available, their brothels, everything. Yet, and still, we find women in America and in England, they've done researches on it, are being harassed in all of the jobs, whether they're doctors, they're lawyers, physicians, all of the different walks of life, from the secretary right down to the lowest level, to the highest level. We find them being harassed on the job by men, in the Navy, in the Air Force, all of the different fields that they end up in. They are being harassed. So the idea of protection of women, this is Islam's concern, because the woman is valuable. You know, like we say, it's like a pearl. You know, the pearl, you don't just leave it out in the open. You know, in certain parts of the world, if you have valuable jewelry, etc., and you go into certain neighborhoods, you don't leave these things out in the open. You cover it to protect it. And this is the Islamic principle with regards to women's dress, to protect her from the evil that exists out there in the society, the potential evil. And also to help the weaker members of the society, among the men, control themselves. Our next question from another sister in Islam from Dubai. She writes, her name is Sister Aisha Soriano, something like this. Sir, I'm a new Filipina Muslima. How is it that everything happens according to the will of Allah? Does Allah will evil? I am confused on these points. Please explain. This is a concept which philosophers have tackled in the past, trying to get an answer for the issue of where does evil come from. If God is good, and what he does naturally is good, good comes from good, then where does evil come from? Some reflection by philosophers have led to deviations in thought. You have, for example, the Parsis, or the fire worshippers, known as the Zoroastrians in Persia. They're also in India now, most of them. They gave evil to the devil. So you had a god of good, Ahura Mazda, and a god of evil, Angra Manu. So they didn't want to attribute evil to God, so they attributed it to another being. But in doing so, they ended up with two gods. Because the God of good, he doesn't have power over the God of evil. Because the God of evil, this evil one, is able to do things which are against his will. The Islamic concept is very clear. Everything which happens in the universe is by the permission of God. That's the bottom line. It is by the permission of God. Nothing takes place without his permission. Now, he has given man a free will, an ability to choose good or evil. In order for that will, or that ability to choose, to have any meaning, then God has also given him the ability or the permission to act on that choice, to cause evil. Sometimes a person may seek to act on a choice, an evil choice, and do evil, but it doesn't take place. As sometimes a person may seek to do good, but the end result may appear to be evil to others. This is all by the permission of God. But all that takes place in the creation, good and evil, is by the permission of God. And this is why we are told in the second last chapter of the Quran to seek refuge in God from the evil which is in the creation. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn. مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. From the evil of that which he has created. Not the evil that he did, but the evil which comes from the things that he has created. So, evil takes place in the world by the permission of God,